right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of Hashtag Nation, welcome to the AFC East RoundTable debate. Just right off the jump, I want to send my prayers and condolences to TD Finstock. He couldn't make it tonight because of a family emergency, so our thoughts are with him right now. But I do have two gentlemen here, Dear Pats Nation and Jets Talk 24/7, that are going to be joining me tonight for the broadcast, talking about the AFC East. What does it take? What is it going to take the crown of the AFC East? First and foremost, I do want to let you guys know that we still have openings for our charity golf tournament on September 11th at Diamond Hawk Course, the Hashtag Sports Not So Invitational. So make sure you click the link in the description and you go there. Even if you just want to come for the dinner afterward, we're going to have a live show, silent auction, all that stuff. All the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, are going to be going to Matthew 25 Farms, which distributes pounds of produce to local families, food banks, and shelters. So we're very happy to be working with that cause. I have two gentlemen that are next to me right now. One, they know the roast is coming. They already know the roast is coming. DPN Ray, Dear Pats Nation. We got Ray. We had some battles in the past. He's still mad at Belichick for getting rid of the greatest game manager of all time in the NFL. I'm so happy.
You have not been paying attention to me, my friend.
No, but we got Ray here to join us to give us a little bit of the peek behind the curtain to see what the Pats are doing, and then also a friend of the show for a long time, Ryan from Jets Talk 24/7, who is the illegitimate nephew of Ken O'Brien. We're glad to have him tonight. So I am glad he's young because we've had talks before. Little history lesson. Pat and I were on Ryan's show at one point, and both of us got muted for yelling at each other. So I have no idea how tonight's going to go. We're going to give you guys a preview of each team's 53-man roster, like what surprises, what are some things that we thought were very interesting. We're going to be talking about what are the biggest strengths and weaknesses for each team, and how do you defend each of these squads. It's going to be very interesting tonight. So in all seriousness, these guys, if you guys, you want to know what your opponent's doing, like Paul and I always say, you got to take care of your house first. You got to take care of the division. So these guys grind it out every single day for their teams, for their squads. But most of all, these guys are the most objective guys I've ever seen on YouTube that cover their teams. So make sure that you guys give them a follow. If you, like I said, you want to peek behind the curtain of the Jets, you want to see what the Pats are doing, that you follow these guys on YouTube. Their YouTube channels are in the description. First and foremost, Ryan, what is up in New York, buddy?
Mute him as soon as he starts talking.
These two are going at it. I was like, no, I'm done. My show. Boom. Mute. Across the board. I felt all powerful. All right, you know what? I'm pretty excited for the direction that the New York Jets are headed. I don't think – I'm concerned because of the whole Carl Lawson injury and no Vinny Curry, and that pass rush that I was so excited about is a little less so now. But I'm really happy with Zach Wilson, how he's looked in the preseason. I'm excited for the offensive line, the weapons that we've given him. I think there's a lot going on. I'm definitely looking forward to talking a little smack.
Oh, it's going to happen. I just know it. And Razor, Razor's above the border. He got some crazy stuff going on up there socially. But I'm just saying, as far as the Pats go, what do you see what do you see for your team this year, buddy?
Yeah. Remember when my country was the normal country? And you guys were the whacked out ones? I missed those days. Look, Patriots are looking good, I guess is the best way to describe it. Better than 7-9. I'll make that prediction right now, right? Like it's 8 wins at least this year, but no, we're in a good place. We're set up for contrary to what a lot of Patriot fans are screaming about right now. We're in a really, really good place in the next couple of seasons with the way this young roster is starting to roll out. And even if every draft pick is a bust this year, nobody can turn around and say Bill Belichick can't draft. Christian Barmore, Ronnie Perkins, Ramondre Stevenson, Mac Jones. If I was drafting, I would have drafted those. Let's put it this way. Christian Barmore was actually who I wanted the Patriots to take in the first round. So we got Mac Jones and Christian Barmore. He was the best defensive tackle in the draft coming out of Alabama. Ramondre Stevenson's an absolute steal at 4. So I'm kind of liking. And then last year, they took Kyle Duggar. he's trending upwards, and J.C. Jackson, a young man. So I'm liking the direction that the young core is starting to go. And we're not a bunch of old men anymore in New England.
They took a defensive tackle from Bama. Do you think him and Saban made a phone call to each other at all? I know they're boys.
We have a lot of Bama players. we have Bama. We have a Bama and too many Michigan guys. I'm going to put it that way. I'm an Ohio State fan. We have way too many Michigan Wolverines. We finally just picked up another Ohio guy, so I'm happy.
That's crazy. You know what? It's weird too because we could probably have a little miniature counseling session because Ray's dealing with a rookie quarterback. Brian, you and I have had a lot of experience over the past decade dealing with rookie quarterbacks over and over, cycling that position in and out. So maybe we could give him some counseling on this later tonight.
Oh, I hope Mac Jones is the first in a long line of quarterback purgatory that you're going to be sitting in for the next 10, 20 years. I am so done. You had Tom Brady. You're done. You've got 20 years of happiness. You get 20 years of sadness.
Am I able to mute
minimum? Minimum. No, I'm done. I've dealt with so many rookie quarterbacks and busts. I just want Zach Wilson to be the one. It's finally nice that Sal is here because I felt like we had a wet blanket on our franchise with Adam Gase. Sorry.
Let me tell you something about Ryan, okay? He sits there behind the scenes acting like he's this nice guy. I just sat there complimenting him how Zach Wilson has looked like the best quarterback in preseason. And he's like, oh, yeah, Mac Jones has looked good. Then this I don't know what language parameters are on here, but this son of a bitch comes out and starts wishing
darts.
Starts wishing purgatory on the Patriots. My God.
He looks
and
good.
You know what? You know why
he looks good? I just hope he's not.
You know why I hope? I just found this out yesterday. Who's the offensive lineman you guys took?
Elijah Vera Tucker.
Yes. I just found out yesterday that was the Patriots' target over Mac Jones.
Dude, he's gonna be good.
I
think he's the best guard. He's gonna be the best guard in this draft, hands down.
Absolutely will. And I hope to God that Mac Jones pans out so I can thank the Jets for taking the best guard in the draft and forcing the Patriots to be like, all right, we'll go with Mac Jones then.
I can't tell you how happy I am that he just I know you were saying he's mobile before the show, but he seems more statuesque.
I said he was more mobile than Brady. That's two different
two different things. What?
There's three guys in the stream that are more mobile than Brady.
Get me on the. I'll run my.
He 40. Ran. I watched him run in the preseason. Okay, I was like, whoa, he doesn't look like a newborn giraffe running. This is different.
Newborn giraffe.
But that's what Brady looks like. He looks like a newborn giraffe running down the field. Just like, please don't fall. Tom Brady looks like he's going to fall over every time he runs. And this is going back to his rookie days. You ever watch this 40 as he just it's
uncomfortable.
Closer and closer to the floor. I'm like, 5 more yards, he would have been face first.
His 40 is adorable. I watch that every year. It's great.
But if that was a 50,
makes me feel good about myself.
If that was a 50, he would have fallen on his face. I'm telling you right now. You can see him. He's getting closer and closer to the ground with every step.
We got Matthew Harmon coming in the chat. The chat is booming. I'll be throwing the questions and all the comments up on the chat for you guys. But we got the first one. From Matthew Harmon saying, how do Jets fans feel about Shaq Lawson?
So I was a little down on it initially. Wasn't sure what to expect. He's been bouncing around. It's his 4th team in 2 years or whatever. So a little bit concerned. Carl Lawson, there was a lot of hype. He was tearing it up in camp. And I think when we lost him for the season, now you're kind of like, okay, where do we go? We're not going to get someone of his caliber now. And then Shaq Lawson comes in. We get him for a 2022 6th round pick. Mm-hmm. So the Jets had I think they had 11 picks prior to that trade. So now the chances of you signing all 11 of those picks are slim to none. I'd rather roll the dice on a guy like Lawson. And then I started doing a little bit deeper dive into some of his statistics, and he had a higher hurry percentage, hit percentage, and pressure percentage on a per snap basis than Carl Lawson did. And then his sack percentage on a per snap basis was just 0.1% behind Carl Lawson. So if we're really hyped about Carl Lawson, maybe Shaq Lawson, I don't know. I was expecting him to maybe fill the role of a Vinnie Curry, a 4 to 6 sack kind of guy at most. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if we were that hyped on Carl Lawson with those numbers, maybe we could get something going with Shaq Lawson. I want to hear from you because you had him for 4 years. How did you feel about him?
Well, you know what? He got caught in the middle of a couple of regimes. So he was drafted by Rex Ryan, then he made the transition. It was a little bit tough for him as far as I don't know, sort of a culture fit, because he did want to go fight Leonard Fournette at One Bills Drive at one point. So I mean, he was, that happened. But it was more like it was the changing of defensive philosophies, a lot of things. I mean, you can't get any further away from each other than Sean McDermott and Rex Ryan as far as defensive philosophies go. So I think he just got caught in the wash there, former first-round pick. But he had his final year in Buffalo. He was, very productive. He bumped down inside every once in a while and played defensive tackle, so you have that going for you. And, the Bills, they've done that. They just did the same thing that the Jets did. They traded one of their defensive ends to Carolina. Shocker. The Bills and Carolina have a relationship. And then they end up getting a 6th-round pick. So it was – I'm wondering, though, if there was anything where the Jets and the Bills may have talked a little bit about a defensive end, and he'd be like, I don't want to give Daryl Johnson to the Jets because we know the potential this guy has. He plays special teams. I don't think Lawson plays special teams. He hasn't played many when he was with Buffalo. So – and that being said, and Dan Morgan being down in Carolina, he was already with Buffalo, so there might have been an agreement there. So I think you guys got a solid player there. I just think that there's a book on him now. There's a book. He's played against Belichick. He's played against the Jets, but maybe not Saleh, but he's played with Buffalo. So there's going to be a ways to, getting that guy blocked on the edge, but he can be a disruptive force over there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to see what Quinnen Williams does year 3, because he has just looked better and better each game as you progress through the season. And I think that's where the excitement was. Like, Carl Lawson was really exciting in and of itself, but then having Quinnen there with Rankins and John Franklin Myers, like, the Jets' defensive line is locked and loaded. So adding someone like a Shaq Lawson should be pretty good. Like, I think we're going to create a lot of interior pressure. We may not have the edge collapse that we would have had with someone like Carl Lawson. I would like us to still go out and sign a veteran or go after, maybe a trade. Derek Barnett was someone I thought the Jets might look to go after from the Eagles. I don't know. The Chandler Jones rumors were kicking around. That was never really going to be a realistic thing because Douglas is not going to spend that kind of draft capital and then money to go get a 32-year-old edge rusher when we're going to be in prime position to take one in this next draft. They know this season is all about Zach Wilson.
You, though, may end up. I think Chandler Jones is going to go for a lot less than people think, because because he's 32 and he wants out. And when this isn't a 29 or 28-year-old who wants out, where there's a little bit of leverage and you might get into a bidding war. Yeah, he's one of the best edges in the league. It's not. I know him very well from New England. Obviously, it was our pick, right? Our 1st-round pick. Won a Super Bowl with him. Belichick traded him for a 2nd back in the day, and. There's buzz that there's not a lot of teams lining up for Chandler Jones. One thing that we had here, don't forget, I think it was a week before the Super Bowl, he walked into a police station with his shirt off because he'd smoked synthetic marijuana and he was having some sort of psychosis moment. So there is some questions around him. It's a real story. Go look it up. So,
I never heard of this.
Yeah. It's a real story. So it was like a week or 2 weeks. It was in the playoffs. It may not have been a Super Bowl. It was either AFC Championship game or Super Bowl. But he just shows up to the police station with his shirt off, like on a psychosis trip because he smokes synthetic marijuana. So there's questions around him. I think if you guys really wanted him, you get him a lot cheaper than you think.
If the Jets could get him for a 3rd, I think I would consider.
Oh no, I was thinking like a 4th. To be real, I think you get Chandler Jones with a 4th, maybe a conditional 3rd.
What kind of deal you got to give him? Because that's the thing. I don't know if you trade for him for a 1-year rental.
Well, he needs
the Jets aren't in that type of position.
He needs, but he's a guy who could come in and show some of your younger guys how to develop. You know what I mean?
But if he wanted 3 years, $45 million,
that's not a lot though. You guys got tons of salary cap.
I'd be cool with that, but I think he might want something crazy
he can want whatever he wants. He's not going to get it. Let him go explore free agency. He'll come back.
Yeah, he's on more 1-year deals at this point, and I think that if you go. Because I mean, the draft's a funky thing. If you talk about 1st, 2nd, or 3rd round picks, you're talking about a 4-year controllable deal. on when you have certain contracts that are coming up that you need to sign. So if you're talking about a fourth round pick, the way he's talking about it is saying like, okay, plus there are going to be a bunch of compensatory picks that go on. So you're going to have to get behind those. So that's where the fourth round draft pick. That's why fourth and fifth round draft picks, they play guys. Those guys play in the NFL, and they play at a cheap price, which some of these teams that are always dead against the cap, where they're going to need talent, but they can't afford diving into free agency. I mean, Buffalo's going to experience that next year after getting the $260 million man. So they're going to have to, draft very, very carefully, which they have been trying to do over the last 2 or 3 years. So, wait, I just want to say this real quick. I got to show this on the stream. Ross, you got this, right? Don't take any crap from those QBs seeing ghosts after playing us or others who are looking for a table to jump through. I despise that comment, Ross.
First of all, Ross is putting my kids through college. we are releasing a limited edition T-shirt next week because we're putting out all this new merch. We just cleared our merch store, putting out all this new merch that's gonna have like all of our like just stupid sayings that we have. And one of the limited edition shirts is Ross, give us money, because this guy just.
That's pretty good.
Ross is my boy. I was supposed to at the end of September. He bought tickets for us to go. My broadcast partner Connor and I were supposed to go down. I was supposed to go down to Boston, go to Fenway, watch Yankees and Red Sox at Fenway Stadium. He bought all the tickets, had it all good, but Joe Biden won't let me in the country, so I can't go. I had to back out.
Oh boy, that's not good. And we got another donation. Awful. We got another donation. Thank you so much from VMan29397.
Yo, VMan.
I don't know why you put your zip code there. But that's cool. No, I'm just kidding.
He's a Jets guy.
How delusional is the Pats fan that told me that they will match up against Buffalo in the AFC title game? I don't know if that's delusional.
I don't think it's happening. I do. I think.
Who said? Was he talking about me? Did I say that?
No, I
don't. Think
so. I told him. I don't know.
It's probably someone in the chat. I think that I don't think the Bills are very good, but I don't know them as well as Ray, obviously. Like, I think Buffalo is like the.
Do you mean the Patriots aren't very good, or the Bills? You said the Bills aren't good.
Oh, sorry, I'm backwards. The Patriots, I don't feel are very good. The Bills, Bills would be my Super Bowl pick.
Look at this guy.
100%.
Look at this.
Like
guy.
I have.
I mean, from 2000 to 2016, he was right. We weren't very good.
Yeah. No, it was not very good. No, I think the Pats are not. I really wanted Cam to start for you. I really did, because I thought Cam was really bad, and I wanted to get him for week 2 and then catch Mac Jones like week 7 or whatever, fresh into the starting lineup, and then maybe the Jets would sweep. But I don't know.
So what is it about the Patriots that you don't think is good? That's what I want to know.
I think just watching Cam last year, and I don't know if that was more so Cam, but it felt like that team was not as efficient. I'm hoping you don't use the tight ends the way you did with Hernandez and Gronk. I just hope that type of offense doesn't come around again. I don't know. I just you felt very beatable last year.
Well, yeah, everybody beat us last year except the Jets, but everybody.
Well, but I'm hoping that's what I'm getting.
Because when you look at the Pats this year, so yeah, last year tight ends we didn't use them very well because we had Devin Asiasi. That was it. Dalton Keene for a couple of games. Ryan Izzo got hurt at the beginning of the season. Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith are a bit of an upgrade. You realize, sure. Like I'm not even being. Look, I told you, off air. I think the Patriots are from a realistic standpoint. I think they're wild card competitors. That's how I see them. You know what I mean? They'll be in that mix of teams competing for a wild card, whether they get there or not. Whatever. But I will put on the table right now that I think they're going to have the best front seven in the NFL this year. When you look at what they have built up with Christian Barmore, with Davin Gotcha, which is, I wish TD was here because he could have beefed him up a little bit just from a run stopping thing. Mm-hmm. Josh Uche is turning into an absolute superstar. I don't think people are really paying attention to what Matthew Judon is with the Patriots. He was really, really good in Baltimore. And if you go back to last year, just in casual conversation, I would just say, could you imagine if we had Matthew Judon here and what Bill Belichick would do with him? Because Baltimore is not using him to his strengths. We already saw in the preseason that Belichick has already figured out where Matt Judon is good. He's playing him different than he did in Baltimore. Like, Zach Wilson's going to be on his ass a few times. You know what I mean? I don't care if that kid can move or not. This is a good front seven. And I'm not entirely sure why you're saying you don't think they're good. We have a rookie quarterback. Have you
I
Damien? Like we have this kid named Damien Harris who's going to run the football.
He's good. I'm not worried about the running back.
Ramondre Stevenson maybe better than him.
Is probably better than like 90% of teams. Like I think our run defense is going to be legit. We're going to get smoked passing the ball, 100%. Like your tight ends are going to beat us up. 100%.
Yeah. And Jacoby Myers is like everybody's talking about Jacoby Myers. He's an emerging receiver. What the fuck are you watching when you look at look, we're not great, but to say they're not good.
No, I'm saying
see what I mean about this guy? I compliment him.
I'm like,
you know what? Fuck Zach
he's
Wilson, okay?
Me,
fuck Zach Wilson. He looked like shit in the preseason.
Mommy and Daddy are fighting, and I think Daddy's winning.
I'm getting beat up. I'm looking at the Patriots, and I'm looking at Mac Jones. I didn't feel like he was going against starters. I'm hoping that like once he gets against some starters, not that Wilson did either. Wilson was going against like the Packers backups, but even still, like I just want some hope that the Patriots are not going to be the dynasty that they've been for the last 20 years.
They're not.
I think you're beatable. I think you're beatable. Like not having Brady makes me feel like we have a chance. Like as weird as that sounds,
next year,
like Mac Jones might be like a great quarterback, but it just feels like it's not as insurmountable mountain to climb as it has been in years past.
No, and listen, anybody out there that is saying, and I'm talking to Patriot fans directly right now, he's the reincarnation of Brady. No, we're not going to see another Tom Brady. We're really not, okay? And we're not, no matter, even if he was, nobody is going to repeat what the Patriots have just done the last 20 years. Nobody. I'm sorry. What we watched, this is a fucking thing that lasted from 2001 till 2019. Say 18 when they won their last Super Bowl. Like, no dynasty in NFL history has had that, or had two back-to-back dynasties with a little in between. And if they could have won one of those fucking games against the Giants, we could have continued it as one dynasty, right? So I just think that, no, of course they're beatable. Every team in the NFL is beatable. The Bills are beatable. They're still going to be the best team in the AFC East, but every team is beatable.
I gotta give a couple shout outs that I missed. I mean, we can go over this topic real quick. DM Mag comes in. Thank you for the $5 donation. He said the real question is, can Zach and Mac outrun Oliver and Greg? You know, I don't know. Is this a Bills channel? I haven't talked about the Bills in a little bit. I want to get back to that question, but I wanted to also thank Ross. Get him, Ray. Let's go. This is what I pay for. Ross coming in, which is pretty good. And then it wasn't that I didn't get to your question. I missed it. What was his name? What the heck was his name? If you want to ask it again, I'll ask you. I think he said something about when Jets get their hands on QBs when they ruin them. Listen, it's not. There's no Adam Gase or Rich Kotite there. I don't think you have to worry too much about the Jets when you got Saleh there. I don't know if that's going to be. I mean, here's the thing here's where I'm coming at. Here's my mindset going into 2021 as a Bills fan looking at the Bills. It's different, and maybe I have to solicit Ray on this a little bit. It's different when you're on the mountaintop, when you have the crown to defend the crown of the AFC East, than when you're chasing the crown. So it's a different mindset where you may prepare and you may do a lot of the things in similar fashion. The Buffalo Bills have proven after a 13-3 record and appearance in the AFC Championship game that they have that quote-unquote championship pedigree. It hasn't been sustained for multiple years, so I'm going to take my foot off the gas as far as that's concerned. I'm like, listen, can you prove it? Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Can you do it again? You know, for me. So I just think the mindset for the Buffalo Bills as far as going into the season, it's like, okay, we're the hunted. You know, for years it was the Patriots. We you know, Jets, Finns, and the Bills wanted to knock them off that perch so bad, but we couldn't. But now you're looking at it, okay, the Bills are the ones that if they do not win the division, it's a colossal failure. But no one's saying that if the Patriots, Jets, or the Finns, I'm talking about in Buffalo, guys. No one's saying that if those three teams don't win the division, then their season is a failure. You know what I mean? I mean, Ray will say if the Patriots win 10 games this year, that's a success. They're moving in the right direction. They go 10-7, that's in the right direction. Yeah. If the Jets have a quarterback that gets close to the 4,000-yard mark and he's able to progress through a bunch of different things and they're starting to make that move, and they win 10, 11 games, that's success.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, let's
just
just
saying.
put this on the table. I have us between 6 and 8 wins this year.
I'm
ESPN
just
put us
saying,
out as
that's
like
what I meant,
6 and
though.
11, and I
like
like
if-
that's the floor. Like you look at the Jets. We were a last-second field goal from the Patriots and a Hail Mary against the Raiders from winning 4 games last year with fucking Adam Gase. Like this is just not the same team. It's like totally different. We're gonna be in high-scoring games. I think we're gonna be competitive. But I think we're going to lose a lot of games because of our defense, because our secondary is going to be really bad. Our linebackers beat the crap. Like we're hurting on defense right now.
I want to, where I want to talk about Buffalo for a second, and where they impressed me a lot all of last season. And I talked about, I've always had this expression, and I've said it to you, Mario, because I think you were on my channel once talking about this luck and that luck or something. And I always said, you got to be good to be lucky. Right. And if you go back to a couple of the Bills games last year, they started showing that they're good to be lucky. I think it was the Chargers when the pass interference call, which gave them another shot. Was it right? My piece on that is in my opinion, the old Josh Allen. And I want to go on the table, put it on the table right now for your audience, because when we were on Ryan's channel back then, I think it was 2 years ago, and he muted us. The first thing I did to piss him off, because he was still a Sam Darnold guy at that point.
Oh, yeah. I ate so much crow over this.
What did I say at that? But even Mario went, I don't know. And I said to you guys, Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback in that division. Right? And I said that to you guys, and I've been saying that since he was drafted. After Tom Brady leaves or falls off a cliff, whatever it may be, Josh Allen's going to be the best quarterback in that division. 2 years ago, that opportunity against LA, I don't know how much faith I have in Buffalo to score that touchdown, to take advantage of the extra pass. But Allen gets it done. Then we go to Buffalo, the Patriot or Gillette, Buffalo. Where was the first game? Was in Buffalo, right? We go to Buffalo. Yeah. And let's face it, the Patriots were driving the field to win that game, right? And then Cam fumbles the ball. You were a good defensive play to win that game. Tight game. Hold on.
Yeah.
Right? Then you come to Gillette Stadium and you lay a beating on us, like a beating, to the point where I texted my partner Connor 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter and said, you want to do the post game now? Because I just couldn't. What was the point? Like, it was nothing, you know what I mean? It was just an absolute beating. And you saw Buffalo progressively get better and better and better as the season went on. And you saw Josh Allen develop into the quarterback I knew he would be, because he idolized 12 his whole life. Right? As he but no, but he did. He's developing in, and it's Buffalo's the team to chase this year. And
that was my point, though, in the whole thing was like, okay, if the Pats win 9 or 10, if the Jets win 8 or 9, that's a success. The way that it's going right now, it's like, okay, if you do not win the AFC East and you do not go back to the AFC Championship game, this season is a failure. So the pressure that mounts within that, it's like the Bills for many, many years, ever since Paul and we started a podcast in 2012 and we progressed it to YouTube, we were always looking up. How can they get better? We'd have broadcasts in November talking about the draft, for crying out loud. Okay. That's how it was. So it was like, okay, can you get better? Can you get better? We don't know what it's like to be on the mountaintop, to try to say, okay, listen, if you don't do this, it's a failure. So like to Ray's point, they started to realize, hey, it's not the Bills from 17 straight years and this and that. It's a different mindset, it's different culture, it's a different team. So like you said, they started to get progressively better and learn how to win rather than just winning games, doing this, that, and the third. Like the Chargers game happened, and the fumble with Cam, and there were like 2 or 3 other games that were sprinkled in there like that could have went either way. That literally could. The Hail Murray thing, that could have been, the Bills were winning that game at the end, so that could have been something else. So all those things intertwine. It's just like what you experienced for many years was the fact that, okay, I mean, me and Ryan could talk about the Bills and the Jets, and TD could talk about the Finns challenging the Patriots for the East.
It was always the wild card. It was always the wild card. The Patriots were the given, AFC East crown. I do think the Bills are that right now. Like, I think if you guys don't win the division, it is a disappointment. And I think if you don't get back to the AFC Championship game, I mean, it's Super Bowl or bust. Like, before Josh Allen's money kicks in, this is like go time for you guys.
Yeah, like the Chandler Jones discussion that we were talking about a little bit earlier. That is a move Buffalo would make because, like, hey, we want this guy for 1 year because we're making a run now. We're going to try to make that run now. To Ryan's point, yeah, the Jets don't do that now because they're not in that position. If they were in that position where they just came off going to the AFC Championship game, maybe they make that deal, but they don't make it now. You know, he's building his team, he's building his culture. You don't get a 1 year guy for a 4 year deal. It just seems like, okay, could you do it? You could, but it's not really building your team around the foundation and the blocks that you really want. So,
but I think what we are setting up for right now, though, with what I think Zach Wilson's going to become, what I think Mac Jones can become, to me, and I sit on another AFC East roundtable from time to time with TD, and he hates when I get this, but to me, I'm not sold on Tua yet, right? And I said there's a real possibility that Tua is the third best Alabama quarterback this year, behind Jalen Hurts and Mac Jones, or he could be the best, and he could be rivaling. But when I look at Josh Allen, like you talk about that Hail Mary play, do you know what gets lost in that Hail Mary?
What
is
the comeback?
Josh Allen just marched Buffalo down the field. You know what I mean? Like he just put them in a position that they should have won the game. You know what I mean? Like Buffalo just marched the field, and I'm correct, right? I'm not making that up. Maybe but I believe he just marched the field. If that Murray doesn't happen, it's Josh Allen has looked at like, look what he's done. You know what I mean? Like he was, and that's what's impressed me the most about him. He has grown into that clutch. And you and I have argued about Brady, and I don't want to get into the Brady argument right now, but one thing you can't take away from Brady was his clutch in that moment. And I don't care if you think that he's not as talented as this guy or that guy. If there's 2 minutes left in the game and a quarterback's going to drive the field for you, you know what I mean, in a playoff game, I'm sorry, I'm picking Brady every time. And you know, Mario, that I'm a Bledsoe guy, so it's not like I grew up as a Brady fanboy. No, you know what I mean? Like in 2001, I was one of those kids upset that this Brady bum was starting the Super Bowl after Bledsoe had come in the AFC Championship game, you know, and threw the only touchdown of the game to
yeah, he just passed away, right?
Yeah,
Patton,
Patton, who passed away today or yesterday from a motorcycle accident.
Prayers
to his family, 47 years old. But threw the only touchdown pass of that game against the Steelers, who already had their bags packed to fly to the Super Bowl. They brought their bags to the stadium with them because they were flying straight to the Super Bowl because they thought they were going to just knock him out. So I'm a Bledsoe guy, so I'm not a Brady fanboy by any means. But you'd want Brady to drive the field. That's what I'm starting to see in Josh Allen, is that clutch gene. You know what I mean? And you can't, I don't care how talented you are, if you don't have the clutch gene, you're not going to be successful. And you've seen that with really, really good You know who didn't have the clutch gene, in my opinion? Donovan McNabb. Great, talented quarterback, but didn't have the clutch gene. And Phillip Rivers didn't have the clutch gene. A guy probably put up close to a Hall of Fame career. You know who did have the clutch gene? Eli Manning. One of the most least talented of that sort of big group of guys who all played at the same time, but had the clutch gene. And Josh Allen has the talent and the clutch. So, I mean, he's fucking wicked good, and he's still getting better. That's, as a Patriots fan, what pisses me off, is that I don't think he's hit his ceiling yet.
No, I don't think he hit his ceiling, but a lot of those things, I mean, like, we would have a 4-hour broadcast if we had to talk about Brady right now, because I'm going to tell you, I mean, the myth and the legend of TB12 always gets lost in the mix, because I think that, okay, you say you have to be good to be lucky. The guy had probably one of the greatest head coaches, defensive minds ever with him. And you know what he did was, and you know this as well as anybody, he traded Bledsoe's $100 million deal because he thought that they were kind of like this. They're kind of like even. And he used that $100 million on his defense and said, okay, Brady, just don't lose the game for me. The first 4 or 5 years, he was just don't lose it. He was managing the game. He hasn't had a bigger than a 7-yard passing tree in 10 years. Like, he just didn't. So he would like keep the game close. My defense will take care of this, that. But I mean, you talk about the clutch. I can't take it away from the guys had some of the most amazing, memorable comebacks. I understand that. But when you progress over to Allen sometimes you guys know that quote when like, okay, if everyone else around you is losing their head and you're keeping yours, you don't fully understand the situation. I think Allen sometimes is just an athlete out there, and he's just playing. Like he doesn't realize how big it is because a lot of those stadiums, remember last year, weren't filled. So it's like you're playing in the backyard with a bunch of your buddies. Like wait till them crowds come in and they start getting in there, and you have to try to start doing a bunch of different things. Not to say that Allen can't do it, but I'm just trying to say over here, I just want to temper my expectations as far as Allen goes, and the fact that and just totally emphasize the mindset of what the Buffalo's going to be going into the season with. Okay,
and
if
that's
they don't win the Super
respectable.
Bowl, it's gonna hurt. Yeah,
But that's a respectable opinion from a Bills fan who's trying to temper his own expectations, maybe his audience's expectations. As an outsider, I'm saying fuck that. Like, honest to God, like fucking have some confidence in this kid, man. Like,
I do. Believe me, I do.
He looks good.
I don't have any confidence in the offensive coordinator. Let's get that straight.
Yeah,
okay.
but sometimes a good quarterback can and you baited me with that fucking Brady comment, but I'm going to move on from it. Okay? And just so you know, I am fucking like, I've lost so many subscribers because all I do is shit talk Brady. Like I am such a team over. Like I was like, I wanted Cam Newton to start this year because I wanted Mac Jones to sit. Now I'm like, fuck Cam Newton. He's not a Patriot anymore. Like I don't care. You know what I mean? Like. Like when you leave and go somewhere else, I know this wasn't his fault, but when you go and leave somewhere else, like everybody's still like, oh, Danny Amendola. I'm like, fuck that angry little elf. You know what I mean? Like it just walks around. Like I'm so team over player. I don't wear my Brady jerseys anymore. I won't be that guy. Like I wear current players. I wear my Hightower jersey. I'll wear an Edelman because he's retired as a Patriot, right? So I want to put that for your family. However, when I don't know the fuck I was going. Oh, because you baited me with the Brady shit. Anyways, back to Allen. Like, if I was a Bills fan, the fucking confidence I would have in him, even if you don't trust the offensive coordinator, the confidence I would have in him when the game's on the line, I'd sit back as if Brady was playing. Like, I'd sit back like I know. I would never sit there and think, can this kid do it? I would absolutely believe that he could do it.
That's a great point, Maestro. He said he led OT drives versus Houston in the playoff game in the Dome. It was loud AF. I was there. He can handle the noise. That's a great point. I totally forgot about that. I mean, because you forget about it because they lost. You talk about the Hail Murray. You talk about that. You talk about the Houston game and this and that in the third. I mean, he is a gamer, and I'm very excited for Allen and what he could do. And like I said, that it's a little bit of an inside joke here on the show when Paul's here. Because if Dable was on fire, I think Paul would throw gasoline on him. But the point being is this. I
thought you liked Dable. Like
I wanted Dable as a head coach.
I had trouble with Dable, who coached Rob Gronkowski for 3 years, and who is unable to incorporate the tight end into his offense. It baffles me.
Okay, so you have, but he had Gronk, and Gronk is, you know what? I'm starting to now question the offensive genius of Josh McDaniels. Because outside of Tom Brady, name one quarterback he's had success with. He had no success with Tim Tebow, and you could say that's Tim Tebow. He had no success with Cam Newton. He would run the ball 4 times in the red zone last year. Like it wouldn't even be like a quarterback option. It would just be a handoff to Damian Harris. I mean, he ran the ball on 3rd down in the preseason. Everybody's like, "Oh, Josh McDaniels isn't a midseason form." And I also believe that's why they went with Mac in a way, because I think Josh was clamoring for Mac Jones because he can go back to an offense he knows and an offense he goes. And I saw someone put Matt Castle. Yeah, but look at Matt Castle. It was like a less talented Brady clone, right? Like slow guys standing in the pocket who can do check downs and screen passes and throw to tight ends with the occasional play action, and you can hit a guy down the field. It
sounds familiar.
But yeah, what I'm saying, like so now it's like, what is the genius of Josh McDaniels?
Yeah, it seems like he's got a little bit to prove here and there. I mean, he did go to, he was a head coach of a team that brought a team to a playoffs and won a game with Tebow only completing 2 passes. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Because of his defense, and that's not Josh McDaniels. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
what do you mean? Josh McDaniels won a game with his quarterback when his defense stepped up?
What's that?
What? What was that? I was kidding.
Josh,
Oh, I see what you're doing there.
I'm not going to bait you anymore because Ryan's over here. He's foaming at the mouth to just talk about.
First of all, in the games that you brought up, Charlie Weiss was the offensive coordinator. It wasn't even Josh McDaniels.
Charlie
So
White's
you're-
still getting paid from Notre Dame. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Wow, that's because Notre Dame's stupid.
So let's try. Okay, I want to start with Ryan. I want to do this. Ryan, you now. Let's see if we could. We'll take turns doing this. It'll be a lot of fun. You are going in to play the Bills. You are going in to play the Patriots. You are going in to play the Dolphins. Okay, you could pick. I'll let you pick offensive or defensive coordinator. Okay, what is your game plan to try to attack those three teams? As a Jets fan, looking at on the outside of those teams, what would you try to attack on those teams? I'll go with the offense first. So you're the offensive coordinator. You're coming in with a rookie quarterback, and you have to go against the Patriots. What are you going to try to attack on that defense?
so our team is definitely going to be built on a running back by committee, ground and pound. You have Becton, you got Elijah Vera Tucker, you got Connor McGovern, you got Morgan Moses. Like, all these guys grade out real highly in the run game. I think they're going to open up some massive lanes. I think it's going to open up play action for us. We have a lot of wide receivers that we're really excited about. Like, this is not the same old Jets as far as like a lack of weapons goes. Like, yes, tight end is a shit show for us. Like, Croft is legitimately our number one tight end right now. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I mean, I like him, don't get me wrong, but I don't think he should be the sole number one. But I think when you look at the Jets, if we can run the ball, if you can get that 100 yards a game, 125 yards a game, whatever it is, and you can slow it down, you can use play action, that's how the Jets are going to beat other teams. Like, I do think this offensive line from a run game perspective is probably going to be a top 15 unit. Pass protection, maybe a little worse, but I do think the running game is going to be really impressive, especially the left-hand side with Elijah Vera Tucker and Becton.
I like that left side, man. I like that left side. That left side is pretty beast. I'm not going to lie. I thought Becton was going to struggle a little bit more last year than he did, but that guy came around. He's just a physical freak. Okay, so that is Razor. Okay, you're going up against the three teams in the AFC East. I unfortunately, I'll go last, but I'll just give you my take on the Bills. But so you're offensive coordinator of the Patriots. You got to try to go against the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins. What are you going to try to do, and what are you going to try to attack, and what's your greatest strength, basically?
The offensive coordinator.
Yep.
Well, just like the Jets, we're going to run the football a lot. This team's set up to, but I don't think we're going to be as heavy ground and pound as the Jets probably will be, but it'll be a lot of it. I think it's being about a 60-40 in New England. And then it's going to come down to tight end play. It's going to come down to using Jonnu Smith and Hunter Henry. They're very similar skill sets to what Gronk and Hernandez were back in that 2010-11 era, before, Hernandez committed murder. I have faith in Jonnu that he won't, but Jonnu is really. I was way more like people in New England are all about Hunter Henry. I guess because he's a big, tall, white guy. I'm really. I was so excited about Jonnu Smith. That was the tight end I wanted. When we were talking about getting one, like I was like, get Jonnu Smith. If you're only going to sign one, get Jonnu Smith. He's so athletic. He can play out of the H back. And then James White, who I think gets forgotten by other teams a lot, who's probably one of the best third down running backs in the league, is I think is going to be very. I think we're going to see him more than third down. He's going to be out there a lot, especially as a passer. Again, if I'm Josh McDaniels, I'm actually treating it a lot like I did this preseason. I'm going very safe, check down, screen passes. When you have the play action, when you have the opportunity, let it go, but slow, methodical down the field. That's the only way that the Patriots offense will be able to attack, no matter who they're playing.
It's weird that you say that about James White, because to me, I always viewed that position in New England. I mean, for the years that Brady was there, you forget when Brady started there, they had Kevin Falk.
Yep.
And that was the guy. Like, there was always that receiving back that came out there and killed your linebackers. Now that the progression of the linebackers have gotten smaller and a little bit faster, almost like big safeties at this point in the NFL, because it's such a passing league, that position is so, it's so underrated. As far as that goes. I mean, James White in the past, to Ray's point, he may have had like 27 carries in a season, but like have 50 receptions.
Yeah, in 2019, he had 900 receiving yards, and I think he had like 200 rushing yards. But the Patriots, like Bill Belichick has always done, we have two fullbacks. Two? Most teams in the league don't have any. We have
They
two.
don't have one.
We just took a guy off a waiver. They have two fullbacks. So it's like the Patriots, Belichick has always, I mean, if you go back to 2018 when we beat the Rams, we did that on the back of Sony Michel running behind James Devlin as a fullback with James White catching the football. It's
Right.
Belichick is like, you want college offense? I still think it's 1960 and I somehow make it work. You know, like it's
Ray, I got to ask you for my own fantasy team stuff. I have Sony Michel as like a late round pick that I got in one of my leagues. How confident can I be in him in like LA, or is he like clearly like a backup?
I like Sony Michel. I was actually disappointed when Sony Michel left. He's, to me, and I put this out on Twitter the day it happened, and I talked about it on our podcast. He is forever going to be the most underappreciated and underrated player that ever played for the Patriots amongst the New England Patriots fan base. And I want to remind everybody that the Patriots only won the Super Bowl and went to the Super Bowl because Sony Michel just carried the team on their back. It wasn't 12. It was 26. I like Sony Michel in LA. He's in the perfect position there. I think he's going to be the starter for a while until what's his name comes back. But I think they're going to split up things. That LA, let's face it, could be the best team in the league, right? Like they could be the best team in the NFL. And the only thing is, now that they have Stafford, they'll probably throw the football a lot more. So that's the only reason I probably wouldn't start Sony. I think he's going to be effective. He averaged 5 yards per carry last season. But he just was limited because of injury, and that's always been Sony's problem. But one thing we did see in the preseason this year and during training camp was he's improved like drastically as a receiver. So he could get some receiving stuff for you as well. But I love Sony Michel. Too many Patriot fans are just idiots.
I would say, as far as the Buffalo Bills go, and we talked about this on previous episodes in the lives, is the fact that you scored 500 points last year. Teams are going to do, as Ryan and Ray said, they're going to shorten the game on you. They're going to try to run the ball on you. So what the Buffalo Bills did proactively is that they beefed up their defensive line, especially the interior, because for the last few years that has been one of their weaknesses. So what do you do when you focus on one thing? Sometimes another thing gets a little bit lost in the mix. So they went a little light on their linebackers because they happen to go nickel quite a bit. So instead of running three linebackers, they'll run Milano and Edmonds, and they'll sometimes have Poyer coming down into the box. So that is what they're going to do defensively. But what they're going to try to do, they have to maintain and consistently stop the run on these teams that are going to try to shorten the game to keep the ball out of 17's hands. Because if you give them the ball equal a number of times, I'll say this as far as the Jets. Bray wants me to be confident in number 17 on the Bills this year. I'm going to be confident. If you give Allen and this offense the ball the same amount of time that you have the ball, the Bills will win every game. You can't do that. So teams are going to find ways to shorten up the game or to try to make the Buffalo Bills one-dimensional. Now, it's silly because you say, well, they throw 40 times a game anyway. What does making the Bills one-dimensional mean? No, you still have to have the threat of the run, which is why they still have Singletary and Moss back there, which are two comparable backs that one comes in, you don't have to change your offensive call. If Sony Michel's in the game and James White's in the game, just for example, in the past, you knew what they were doing. They're not really going to run it power gut in between the guard and center with James White in there, okay? But, if you have Singletary and Moss in the game, you can't really key on one or the other because they both can run the ball in between the tackles and they both can catch the ball outside. So that is one of the strengths that Buffalo is going to have. But they have to try to prepare for teams going old school against them and trying to run the ball and keep the ball out of the offense's hands, which is something in Buffalo that we're not accustomed to. That's usually the philosophy of the Bills going into prior to last year. That was one of the things. So as far as my weakness for the Bills, it's not really a weakness, but they have to get that cleared up. And as far as I would venture to say this, I think that not so much the Jets or the Pats, but I think the Dolphins are the only team in the East that have more team speed defensively than the Bills. But you think about it, Flores is running a defense that's derivative of Belichick. Yep. McDermott's running a 4-3 zone scheme. So in a zone scheme, you don't need a guy that can run a 4-2 and cover one guy one-on-one, like Revis Island or something. You don't need that. So what he's doing is he has his own concept, so you don't need burners out there, which means that you don't have a lot of team speed, which unfortunately killed them against Kansas City because all they do is have speed everywhere. So
Well, and you know what? You guys playing a 4-3 zone, though, is the only thing that gives me any hope of us maybe somehow stealing a game at Gillette from you, right? Because what the Patriots couldn't do in his zone last year with Cam Newton was take advantage of a zone. The best zone defense in the world has a weak spot. Every zone, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't want to challenge Tre'Davious White. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't. It's that simple. You got to find the weak spots in those zones. And Cam Newton, didn't know how to throw a check down. He didn't know how to throw anything. And that's only where I get any hope whatsoever is if by the time we get to Buffalo, Mac Jones is going to have some games under his belt. He's going to see a little bit of defensive stuff. And if you guys do come out in his zone, that they can just do that slow pick down the field and keep possession of the ball. And I think that Belichick's game plan from what I saw in preseason is just possess the ball. Even if we just walk away, it's not even scoring touchdowns. It's score points, whether it's a field goal or a touchdown, but make those. They had a drive in the preseason. It was against Second Strings over that went 11 minutes. It was an 11-minute drive topped off with a Ramondre Stevenson touchdown. And I think that that's what Belichick wants to do because Josh Allen, I was going to say Patrick Mahomes, but him too. Josh Allen, you can't score touchdowns if you're on the bench watching. Right. Yes. And I think that's what the Patriots are going to want to do. Whereas with Buffalo, Allen's going to want to go out there and sling it, and you guys want to go down the field in a minute and a half and score a touchdown and put fear into the other team's defense and put them dejected on the sideline. Right. But you can deject a defense in two different ways because when your defense comes off exhausted after a 9-minute drive and letting up a touchdown, what's more deflating? You know what I mean? It's the only thing that Buffalo can do to anybody, which I like, is if the Patriots, I'll use Patriots, or the Jets, because they're probably going to run a very similar offense. If they have a 9-minute drive and they score a touchdown, Buffalo can come down in 2 minutes and completely switch the momentum of the game because you can just go boom, 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 hit Diggs 20 times or 3 times and he runs it and he goes. Like, Diggs is an asshole, right? Just because he's so good, because he's a Buffalo Bill. If he was anybody else, I wouldn't care, but because he's a Bill, he's an asshole. And it was like last year, someone was like, "Oh well, we were arguing about JC Jackson. Stephon Diggs just killed JC Jackson." I'm like, Stephon Diggs killed everybody. I'm like, you can't have that kind of fucking argument with me.
Yeah, here's the thing that I want to do. Maybe this is a good transition over to Ryan. I want to ask him about it. Obviously, this is hashtag Sports World Bills channel. Once again, shout out to Mr. Rogers Homes, top 1% realtor in Arizona. If you're looking to move to the Valley of the Sun, go check out Sean. It's in the description. Also, these two gentlemen's channels are in the description as well. They're grinding out content every day. Please make sure you give them a shout. The one thing that I wanted to ask Ryan is that I'm a Bills fan. It's the Bills channel. Ray has his Pats channel. If you were – give me a sleeper for the New York Jets that you have that probably nobody else outside of the organization, a guy that you're like, for us, it's Paul likes Matt Breida and he loves Dane Jackson, the 7th round corner. He loves him and he thinks he's going to break out and do this, that, and the third. We got, Marcus Stevenson, the returner that everyone's, really high on in Buffalo, rookie. Who's a guy on the Jets that maybe not a lot of people are talking about? His name's not in the papers, but you really like?
I think Zach Wilson takes the cake media wise. So I think he's kind of overshadowing Elijah Moore, our other rookie that we took in the beginning of the second round. Now, there's been a lot of guys that have come out in support of Elijah Moore. I want to say it was Ocho Cinco, AJ Brown. There's a whole list of different guys that are saying like, yo, I'll put up game checks. Like this guy's going to be Odell Beckham Jr. Like they're all saying Elijah Moore is going to be like this amazing player. This guy would be hard to tackle in a phone booth. Like he is electric. I cannot wait to watch this dude hit the field. And he didn't touch the field during the preseason. Like he was a little banged up. They're like, all right, we're not going to risk him. And then they didn't play anyone the third preseason game because it just poured over in MetLife Stadium. And like literally every starter on both sides of the field sat. So this guy coming out, I think, is not being talked about as much because he hasn't played in the preseason. There's no tape on him. And then Zach Wilson being the quarterback is just stealing kind of all the show. So I would say the other players that we got on offense, you're talking Elijah Vera Tucker at the guard position is going to totally revamp the left side of that offensive line. And I think Elijah Moore in the slot, just the explosiveness that he has. If you're in a PPR league, definitely consider taking Elijah Moore late because you can get him late. Like he's going to be good.
Oh my God. That's scary. Who was the receiver that said that he only signed in New York to play with Darnold, and they traded Darnold like 3 days later?
Corey
Who was
Davis.
it? That's Corey Davis.
he's like Sam Darnold's my quarterback. He had to have known that his agent must have been like, yo, dude, like Sam's gone, like zero shot.
He's really not here. He's really
yeah.
Not
I don't know how much I buy the like I want Sam to be my quarterback. Like they watched the tape on him. The guy was missing wide open guys. Now, I don't know. I'm excited for this Jets team because it's so different. I love Keelan Cole. Keelan Cole's a sneaky good receiver. That like because you got Corey Davis, you got Elijah Moore. Those are the guys that are kind of being talked about as being the highly drafted and big name guys. But Keelan Cole was a sneaky like fourth, fifth option that is incredibly reliable and really good at contested catches.
Well, yeah, he's buried in Jacksonville. Anybody that comes out of there is like it's like purgatory in the NFL. Like, all right, Razor. I am a Bills fan. I'm looking at the Pats. I need you to give me a sleeper that I have to look for when the Bills play the Pats. Who's the
Our
guy?
all-pro punter Jake Bailey.
He did not go with the punter.
He has more punts inside the 20. No, okay. He wasn't all pro though. If you watch our channel, we talk about kicking a lot. It's a joke that has just turned into seriousness. But no, honest to God, I know it's gonna sound crazy because you guys might say he's not a sleeper, but it's Matt Judon. I don't think people understand the havoc that Matt Judon is gonna rag on the NFL this year. I was reading 3 different articles from a New York paper, a Buffalo website, and a Cincinnati.
They have paper anymore?
Yeah, and a Cincinnati website that all said what I said, that he should already be considered for a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. Like how Matt Judon was really good in Baltimore, but they didn't use him to his full potential. And I'm telling you, I said that, and I had no inclination that he was coming to New England because he wasn't even on any of our radars. I just kept over and over saying, I wish we could get Matt Judon. Like, Matt Judon would be great, but we know we're going offense. We're not getting Matt Judon. And then I think like his second signing was Matt Judon, and I almost got fired because I screamed at work. But it's Matt Judon is going to wreak havoc across the NFL this year. So I think as much as he shouldn't be a sleeper because he's an established player in the NFL, what he's going to do in New England is going to be, and we saw already in the limited time in preseason. I think in preseason he hit the quarterback almost on every play he was out there. He had a sack, he had a defended pass, he stopped the run 3 times, he had 4 tackles in literally in 14 snaps across 2 games. He's insanely. He's like Jamie Collins on roids. It's crazy. I'm so excited for Matt Judon. Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Literally, I don't care.
He's not really on roids.
By the way, I've been looking at your chat and all these they're looking cheating's a stain on the dynasty. I think you guys need to understand. I don't give a fuck. I look. No, honest to God, I look at I have the 6 replica rings, and I look at those and never think oh man, we cheated to get those. I was like, fuck, Belichick was smart and got us those rings. So just
I'm 100%. Let me check my notes. Hold on a second. Yes, I just want to let you guys chat. I've had for the Bills and did not play for the Jets. We are passionate, objective fans, and that's where it goes. That's where it stays.
That sounded very passionate and impressive.
I didn't hear
a thing.
Really?
Yeah, no, you're frozen. I got you.
Now I can hear you.
Oh my God, that's weird. I don't know what happened.
There you go. Now we got you.
Somebody didn't play for the Jets? Or?
No, as I was going to say, Ryan never played for the Jets, Ray never played for the Pats, and I never played for the Bills. So when you insult the team, it's like, I'll still sleep okay tonight. But I mean, I never went over that. I may have mentioned it 7 or 8 or 400 times cheating, but in private is when I mentioned it. I mentioned it in private. You know what I mean?
No, it wasn't you. It was your chat. Hey, listen, as a Patriots fan, I'm so used to being told we're cheaters, and I'm just like, I don't care. And I piss people off. So I'm like, I don't care. If you're not cheating, you're not trying, man. Like, fuck.
Welcome to the 1970s Raiders, for crying out loud. I mean, that's all they did.
But you know what's phenomenal, though? I actually love Buffalo fans. I'm from Toronto, so I'm surrounded by Buffalo fans. It's actually, as for an AFC East, I like all your video makers and content creators. I was just on the Buffalo Fanatics a couple weeks ago. We had a blast on there, and with their chat, just your chat talks a lot of shit, man.
They do. You gotta You got to rest up before you come to our chat, man. The hashtag nation, it does not play around. All right, listen, I'm going to play a little game as we try to get out of here, and I want to thank these gentlemen for their time. We're going to do a record predictions, but with a twist tonight. Make sure that you go down in the description of this video to follow these guys. I mean, they do. Honestly, if you want to peek behind the curtain of passionate fans that love their team, that'll give you the information that you need, they're grinding it out every day. And they're putting up videos about their team. So if you want to know what's going on in the AFC East, please go over there to their channels. I've learned so much from watching these two guys' channels about the Patriots and the Jets. So make sure you do that. So what I want to do is this. I want to give Ryan the Bills. I want to give Ray the Jets. And I will take the Pats. Okay? Now, okay, so let me see if I got this. Okay, so Ryan has the Bills, Ray has the Jets, and I have the Pats.
I hope it's not named players because I'll be out of this really quickly.
No. Instead of doing a customary record prediction, because we kind of went over that for our own view and this and that and the third, you have to now plant yourself into that team and predict what the record will be for that team. I want to start with Ray first. Ray, you are now with the New York Jets. What is your record going to be in 2021 playing 17 games?
Okay, well, I'm sitting here with my PTSD.
I should have had you guys switch teams, and I would have took the Dolphins. Like, this would have been a fight.
I'm talking about the guarantee at Super Bowl II. I got my fireman's hat on. Okay, I'm ready. No, to be real, I haven't seen your full schedule. I know a lot of your opponents because we're the AFC East.
They're playing both Souths, remember. They're playing the AFC and NFC Souths.
Yeah, 7 to 8 wins, I think, this year is reasonable for the Jets. That's probably where I'm sitting, around 7 to 8 wins.
So 7 and 10 or 8 and 9. I like it. Remember, the gauntlet of the schedule from last year, I mean, the Bills had to – the AFC East had to play the West, NFC West last year, and – I can't remember. Was it the North?
Yeah, well, and for Buffalo too. Welcome to the first place schedule. Right?
Yeah, they got to play all that. I mean, that's another thing that people don't take into account is the fact that the Dolphins, the Jets. I mean, your prospective teams in those divisions. So, I mean, of non-league, or non-divisional games and stuff like that. So, all right. So Ryan, you are a Buffalo Bill. You're now part of the Buffalo Bills. You're welcome. How many games did the Buffalo Bills win this year?
So I went to school in Binghamton. I know lots of Buffalo Bills fans. Some of my best friends are Buffalo Bills fans. I really don't have any issues with Buffalo Bills fans. I dislike Patriot fans like intensely because of the last 20 years. The Dolphins, I really can't stand either. But the Bills, I don't mind picking their schedule and like kind of
You're the only
determining
Jets fan
their
I
record.
have a problem with.
I actually, Ray, you're the most docile of Patriot fans that I've ever met. I actually like you.
I'm only going on Richie's channel from now on.
He's like, oh man, I can't talk to him anymore. No, okay. If I'm looking at Buffalo's schedule, right? So I think the Chiefs, the Titans, and the Bucks are three teams that are like you guys can contend with them. I'm saying 13-4 is going to be the record for the Bills. I think, a Patriot game at home. I think depending on what happens with Pittsburgh and Big Ben week 1, I don't know how much I believe in him anymore, but I think you guys it's tough to find 4 losses on your schedule. I think, or more than 4 losses at least. I think 13-4 winning the division. I don't know if that puts you in first round bye. I think Tennessee could walk away with the number 1 seed based on that division. I really think Tennessee, the Colts, the Jaguars, the Texans, that's 6 easy wins right there.
Ooh, over the Colts?
I think so. I do. Colts. I don't think Wentz is going to be very good. I think Wentz is going to get banged up, and I don't think they're going to play well. I think the Colts are a really good team.
They got a run game and a defense, man.
I know that
a lot of people are sipping the Wentz Kool-Aid, though. I think of it when he was having his MVP year.
Yeah, with Wright, I don't know. I don't trust Wentz. I think that team's really good, but I just don't trust him. And I think the Titans are going to be able to take advantage of that. But I do think 13-4 for the Bills is realistic.
Yeah, I'm not standing next to Wentz in a rainstorm. I'll tell you that much right now. That guy's cursed. That guy's ridiculous. I'd get hit with lightning if I stood next to that dude. Oh my god! All right, so I got the Pats. You know, I want to say 0 just to piss him off. No, I think the Pats. You know, getting back to basics, doing a bunch of things that they weren't. I mean, you had a quarterback last year that threw 8 touchdowns and 11 picks, and you still won 7 games last year. I mean, that is, you know, and missing some big studs on that defense. You know, with what he said about Judon, and Judon torched the Bills the year that Baltimore beat the Bills in Buffalo. Judon was a thorn in the side. Belichick knows how to use those guys, and I think he's going to have, you know, really good team defense. But I mean, I had the Bills edging out actually Miami for the division, and I got torched for it on our channel because I think I had them going 12-5 or something like that. You know, there's always that one game every year that you're like, how did they lose that one? You know, how did they lose that one? So while, you know, Ryan, you say that you don't see more than 4, there's always that one that's, oh my God, what? They lost to Washington? Like, what the hell? So that being said, you know, I got the Pats around 6 wins. I got them going 6-11. So, I mean, realistically speaking, you got a rookie quarterback. He's going to be coming in. He's going to be learning the ropes. There's going to be, you know, things, you know, the revolving door of certain things going on there. Harris is going to have to coach him up a little bit. The MVP of that offense may be James White because he's going to be back there with both of those guys trying to coach them up. So as far as the Pats go, I give them 6 wins, 6-11 this year. So, well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this dumpster
Ray looks
fire.
like he's stewing. He's hot right now.
Did you have a comeback to that, Razor?
Well,
Razor, I'll get right in your grill, Razor. Come on.
I take heat. Because I have the Patriots around 8 or 9 wins, and Patriot fans think I'm undervaluing this team. And I'm sitting there going, no. I'm like, when you look at this win, we're probably going to get swept by the Bills. You know, we could split with Miami. Like, I go through the whole thing. I got 8 or 9 wins. There's a couple games that are tosses that are 50-50 games. Mm-hmm. And you throw 6 at my face. You've got us. Hold on. No, fuck that. I got to talk about it. You've got us losing more games than we did last year.
Yeah.
When we had Cam fucking Newton, the worst offense that the Patriots ever put on the field. Like, I don't think you understand the upgrade. I don't think you understand who fucking Matt Lacoste is, okay, compared to Johnny Smith or fucking Hunter Henry. Our quarterback threw 10 touchdowns.
Well, full disclosure. I did that for 3 reasons, Ray. Number 1, the reaction I just got was number 1. Number 2, full disclosure, I did not look at the Pat schedule. I really didn't. I just pulled a number out of a hat. And number 3, if you go on your show saying that a Bills guy said we're only winning 6 games, I know I'm getting an invite soon. So I'm kind of angling to get on your show soon.
You were getting the invite coming up, but now it's fuck that. Dan's coming on the show now.
Damn.
6 fucking wins.
Damn.
Jeez. No, you're you know what the problem is anybody who watches my show, my fucking partner Connor that hates confrontations is gonna be like, oh yeah, I could see that, and he'll start fucking agreeing with you.
I love Connor. I love when I watch the show. You and Connor have a great dynamic over there. So Razor, why don't you what's coming up on Dear Pats Nation in the future, and plug anything you want right now.
So we got a lot of shit going on. So you can check us out Sunday to Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It's the Dear Pats Nation live show, 100% fan driven. You don't have to be a Patriot fan. Like, we legit, like, we come with one topic that we talk about for 5 minutes, and then it's all chat. We have a Patreon, which Bills fans don't want to be on, so don't worry about it. But we address a bunch of comments from our Patreon. And we talk about everything. We spent half an hour yesterday talking about why my car is better than Connor's car. It's like we like to have fun. When you come to the YouTube channel, we're just there we want you to feel like you're having beers. If you want to actually get some serious stuff, head on over to news. You can download the Newsbreak app or head over to newsbreak.com/DearPatsNation. That's where I actually go and cover, be a little bit more serious and break down, you know, sort of the newest Patriots news. 2 videos a day go out on that. And I just signed with Colorcast a couple weeks ago, and we made the announcement this week. Nice. So as of September 12th, I'm going to be the Patriots super fan, which I hate the fucking title, but I'm going to be doing play-by-play on Colorcast. Colorcast is basically like they want to be like an online radio type of network, so it's all audio. I'll be doing Patriots play-by-play every week, and then from Monday to Thursday, I'll be doing a show called The Patriots News. That's like at 7 p.m. Eastern Time over on Colorcast. So you can find us there, find us on Newsbreak, find us on YouTube. And follow me on Twitter, at DPN_Ray. I love to have fun on Twitter. If you come in and try to be serious with me, fuck you, I won't respond to you. Just
it's fun. It is so fun. There are some. Let's put it this way. Hashtag Nation has some really fun Twitter follows, and their gift game is very strong. And other than that, Jessica, rude. You don't want me to be on his show. You want Paul on his show. Rude. Jessica just said that the Pat, she can see the Pats at 10 or 11 wins. So I think she's going to be a Dear Pats Nation fan very, very soon. So
come on over. We just brought a bunch of Buffalo fans over. It's crazy because we were on Buffalo.
We have
Fanatic.
cookies and milk.
It was Fanatic. It's come in my van. Take the candy.
Is that the one with free candy spray painted on the side?
Everybody's
Lost
welcome.
puppies.
Everybody's welcome, but Chiefs fans. No
Yes,
Chiefs,
that's true. No Chiefs fans.
Fuck the Chiefs kingdom.
Oh my God. I didn't know I was hosting Mitchell's show. There's so many F-bombs flying all over the place. All right, Rhino, what's going on Jets Talk 24/7 this week and in this season? What's going on, buddy?
All right. Like he said, Jets Talk 24/7. You can find me pornhub.com/Jets Talk 24/7. No. Dude, I'm looking forward to this season. I think the Jets are like this is the first time I can have excitement in the first time in like 3-4 years. Like realistically, since like we drafted Sam Darnold and there was hope. And like I don't know. I do a whole bunch of videos. I do live streams Monday and Tuesday night. You can come check out those. It's a lot of fun. Tuesday's mainly Jets stuff, but we'll talk about anything. Monday I have some Jets X Factor guys, which are some of the more analytical side of things. So if you're looking into maybe some film breakdown or things of that, I get some of the Jet guys onto that. And then I just kind of rant and yell and have some tantrums throughout the season. So I don't know if you're into maybe someone who has hated their life with Adam Gase and you just want to see like a reaction of like pure sadness. I tend not to let anything get filtered. I'll just sort of like mouth off. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to the season.
Yeah, make sure that you follow these guys.
Sorry, Mario. Can I pitch one more thing? I
Absolutely.
totally forgot.
No, go ahead.
We're going to be doing a post game Sunday night of the first game on the 12th, probably around 8:30 or so. If you guys are ever going to come to that post game, drop some super chats. All of our post games this year, any super chats, any money we make off that table, we're going to be donating to different charities across Boston and Toronto. We shut down here in Canada for a long time, and we need a lot of COVID relief, especially for small businesses. So what we are doing is we're taking the money and purchasing items we're calling shelters and different things, asking what items they need, purchasing those items from small shelters and then donating them from small businesses and then donating them to the shelters. So please come check us out on post games, even if it's just to drop a super chat so that we can take that money and spread good in the community.
Love it. I love it, Ray. Yeah, speaking of charitable, Matthew 25 Farms, we're having the hashtag Sports Not So Invitational on September 11th at Diamond Hawk. You can see the link below. We still have openings for foursomes. Also, that's not Ryan's foursome; it's golfing foursomes. But anyway, we're having a dinner afterward. Paul and I are going to have a live show, live Q&A, rapid fire discussion, where basically we're going to be walking around after everyone's eating dinner, and we're going to ask you guys questions. It's going to be a live show. You guys are going to be on the show if you guys want to come to the show. So we're going to have that, and like I said, all the 100% of the proceeds will go to Matthew 25 Farms, who they have pounds. They produce pounds and pounds of produce for shelters, food banks, and families. It's a great charity. Also, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Sean Rogers Homes, top 1% realtor in Arizona. If you're thinking of moving to the Valley of the Sun, please go hit them. And then get these two guys on Twitter and have some fun. For Ray and Ryan, I am Mario. This is hashtag Sports. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you next time.